It's foolish to be real in a world full of foolish people. Whatever you're going to do, just be yourself. Want to start a business? Just be yourself. Want to ask your crush for a date? Just be yourself. And seriously, how annoying has that advice gotten? I remember once a guy came to me, he seemed to know me through mutual friends. So I started to introduce myself and he had a laugh on his face, which turned out he was surprised to hear that I sounded completely different compared to what he had in his mind. So I asked him out of my curiosity, what were you thinking when you heard my first name? Just to give an idea, my name Abdi is very common in Somalia culture.
Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
He told me he was expecting someone who speaks barely Dutch and looks more Somalia based on my name. In other words, in his perception, most of these looks the same and speak barely Dutch. And the reason why I touched on this story is because there's an expectation from your friends who think they know who you are. Which brings me to the next point. You aren't the person your family or friends tell who you are. For instance, your name, that's just simply a label that you got from your parents as well as your job title. So then the question is, too often our identity is tied to things that have no business defining our lives. Who would you be without your job, or your car, or your home? Who are you without your reputation or political views, or your money? If you took away all the worldly things that define you, what would be left? Yes, I know, that's a deep one.
That's what she said.
Just observe your behavior every time you interact with someone who you have a relationship with, which could be your friend or colleague. Are you acting towards your truest self, or is it because you wear the label of being colleague you're going to act some sort of way? So this is one of, if not the biggest challenges of our time, being authentic. In my opinion, you're authentic if you can be yourself in being with others without thoughtful intentions. I remember in my early 20s observing my behaviors in social activities. I had this image of acting towards people's expectations because I didn't find myself good or loved enough. So if I went to the barber, I was acting differently, like the way I talk and act. Then if I came across, let's say, one of my friends, my behavior would be completely different to please others, aka being the nice guy, which we're going to talk about in the future videos. So my point is, this doesn't mean I was a fake person or so. In fact, I was more fake to myself than truly I was. I had no core values because then I was living for the expectations of others rather than my own. And this is probably the identity crisis that most in their 20s and 30s have, because they have been programmed to act in some sort of way. And for any of you who think, but Abdi will live in collective consciousness, so you have to act how others expect you to act. This is partly true and false. What I mean by being true to yourself is when you have no inner conflict with yourself about whether you're good enough at what you're doing. So now let's talk about the influence social media has on being yourself. You must not just control the diet of the food you put into your mouth, but you must control the technology that you put into your brain. People seem to think that they are not influenced by the world they take in around them digitally, but they are. You need to make sure that you're not observing negativity from the internet that's going to make your life worse. There's a phrase I heard Denko mention before. He says, people cringe at being locked in a room with other friends for 3 days, but don't cringe at the fact that you're logged into social media where 100 times more people are posting much more polarizing information and acting like it's different. But in reality, it's the same information. Your mind doesn't know any difference. So people watch a clip of 30 seconds on social media and suddenly engage with the negativity of the comments, start creating their own inner dialogue, and before you know it, it has become their new belief without fact-checking that 30 seconds clip that's completely gotten out of context. Another thing about how the social media landscape has changed. In the past, the blue check mark was only for the people with high profiles, but nowadays on some platforms you can pay monthly to show the blue check. It has become a status game that anyone can play, so there's no longer a filter that shows you have to be an artist or a pro athlete, because now everyone on the street has a blue check. It just makes you do more research to double check what someone is saying. Look, I'm not against social media. I think it should be used properly before you start using the majority of your time, so you have no energy left to create something for your future self. Social media should be balanced in my opinion. And yes, I do consume content to do research for the projects I'm working on, but that's intentionally to do research, to post something, to network with others, and then log off. Just like the other externals in our lives, none of them are the problem. It's how you interpret them. So all these jack guys and hot looking girls you have been admiring on social media, It's just a reflection of your own shortcomings. It makes you envious, comparing yourself to level 100 of someone's life to your level. Even if you follow people who are in line with your future version, you should only take something out of what they say, even the things I say, and then do your own research. Otherwise, you will be the majority of people who are going through life unconsciously without questioning their thoughts and beliefs. So now that we understand you aren't the people you compare yourself to online, let's talk about where you can find your true self. My mind cannot know you, only labels, judgments, facts, and opinions about you. Being alone knows directly. Eckhart Tolle. So to know who you are, let's use the onion as an analogy. Let's say each layer is who you think who you are. So there are layers about who culture says who you are, who society wants you to be, the way you have been programmed, etc. Eventually, if you remove all the layers by questioning yourself why you think this is who you are, you will get to the point where you will find the origin of the onion. And that's the foundation of who you are. In other words, if you want to be more yourself, you should be more alone with yourself. This doesn't mean you have to isolate yourself and avoid interactions with others. In fact, if you practice being alone with yourself, you become more authentic to yourself in what you value the most. If you can think and speak and write, you're absolutely deadly. Nothing can get in your way. Jordan Peterson. When we write, we become better thinkers because putting our thoughts into words helps us organize them more clearly. Writing helps us develop a strong and confident mindset. And according to Jordan Peterson, writing is a form of thinking. So to be more yourself, you have to write down more of your thoughts and start questioning the root of your belief. Go watch my previous video about overcoming limiting beliefs. For instance, the majority of people I've met in my day say something about how good or bad my language is. And that's okay, because none of them is holding me back from becoming a writer and speaker. So just write down to clarify your thoughts and your future self will thank you. Another method that goes hand in hand when journaling is a weekly reflection. Just write down every Sunday before the new week starts what went well and what didn't, and what you are going to do to improve next week. What projects are you working towards? My current projects are to be consistent with posting content on YouTube, Instagram, and X. Acquiring new clients for TikTok consultancy, link in the description to see if you're a good fit, and meanwhile staying lean by hitting the gym every day. All truly great ideas are thought of while walking. Friedrich Nietzsche. Walking is a great tool. It's great for clarity, for ideas, for thinking about things. It's a nice distraction. Walking is something that you should be doing not for exercise, not for your body, but for your mind. Just put on your favorite podcast or audiobook and disappear for a walk around the block or in nature. Once you decide to be more with yourself, let's say you don't go to parties of your friends because now you have other values, becoming a better version of yourself. There will be probably some resistance because your friends see you adopting a different mindset. So they start projecting the things they should do too, which is working on themselves. They project it by saying, you have changed. And you say, yes, so what? After you say that, there will be probably an awkward silence because now you just have broken the chain on how they wanted to see you. And then you can simply just teach them that you aren't that person anymore who just likes to go parties, because that doesn't add value to your life. And this is also the point when people start respecting you. The reason why all of these tools will help you be more yourself is if you remove yourself from all the external noise, you allow yourself to discover the authenticity in you. And this can only be found in stillness with your thoughts. Escape competition through authenticity. When you are competing with people, it's because you are copying them. Try to do the same thing. Don't copy. Naval Ravikant. Another reason why it's important to be authentic more than ever is because the future of work is going to change. From the people you buy from it to the people you network with. Authenticity is the new currency. People want to buy it from their favorite creators rather than from big brands, because these creators are more in touch with their community because of their exclusiveness and authenticity. This is also why people admire creators like Sam Solek and Emma Chamberlain, because they seem to be authentic in the masses' eyes, but all they do is just be themselves. I guess people like the idea of dancing around the concept of authenticity rather than discovering where their authenticity lies. Discovering who you are will always be a mystery, because who you are today won't be the same person in 1, 5, or even 10 years.